You know, the world of online spirituality, it's this huge, unregulated spectrum. On one end, you can find some really ancient, deep wisdom. But on the other end, well, that's what we're here to figure out. Today, we're going to explore this whole landscape to give you the tools you need to navigate it.
So, when you're scrolling through your feed, how do you actually tell the difference? How do you know if you're watching a genuine guide or a self-proclaimed guru? And how do you separate content that's actually trying to help from stuff that's just, well, entertainment in spiritual clothing? Let's dive in. The skill we're really talking about here is something called spiritual discernment. Basically, it's the ability to look at spiritual content with a critical eye, to filter out the noise, and to, protect your own mind. And that's really our goal for this explainer.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this spectrum, we're going to start at one extreme. We're going to look at a specific case study that really embodies what you might call the Grandmaster Persona.
So, let me introduce you to Albert, a creator behind a channel called Reiki with Albert. He calls himself a Reiki Grandmaster, and he claims to come from this long family line of healers and seers, saying that psychic abilities basically run in his blood.
Now, here's what's really telling. In one of his videos, he says this directly to his viewers. Think about that for a second. The focus isn't on empowering you, the viewer. It's on the viewer feeling his personal power, and that right there is a crucial distinction. And this slide just lays it all out so clearly. On one side, you have all these big spiritual claims. I am a healer. My mother had these powers. He even says he woke a friend from a coma with crystals and that he's a star child. But then you look at the other side, and what do you see? The business. Constant pushes for channel memberships, merch, direct donations through Super Thanks and PayPal, and even an Amazon wish list for gifts. It's a perfect picture of spiritual commercialism.
And his practice, well, it involves a whole toolkit of props. He says he uses strong magnets for healing, he drops raw crystals into water to purify it, and he even has a talisman with soil from a 3,000-year-old temple. He talks about programming crystals to guard his room and using a lucky fan for saging. These are the physical objects he presents as the conduits for his power. All right, so now for a complete contrast. Let's stay in the exact same world, online Reiki, but look at a creator who has a fundamentally different, more grounded approach. And wow, the difference here is just night and day. Albert proudly talks about how he avoided doctors for serious injuries, choosing to take care of myself. On the other hand, the creator Whispers of the Wolf ASMR is crystal clear with her audience saying, if you're dealing with something serious like burnout, please go get professional medical help. Her content is a supplement, not a replacement.
Their source of authority is also totally different. For Albert, it all comes from his title, Grandmaster, and his claims of having these unique inherited powers. He is the active healer. But Whispers of the Wolf acts more like a facilitator. Her stated goal is to help your nervous system regulate itself. The power, you see, is given back to you.
Okay, so now let's take a big step back. Let's move away from individual creators entirely and look at a framework built on thousands of years of tradition, debate, and deep scholarship.
So, Rabbi Michael Skobach explains the concept of Shalom. Now, you might hear that and just think, peace, right? But it's so much more than just the absence of conflict. It's this profound state of completeness and harmony. It's when all the different pieces of your life and of yourself are integrated and just working together.
And this isn't just some nice idea. According to the Talmud, this concept is the ultimate goal. The entire tradition, all of its teachings, are ultimately for the sake of achieving this deep, integrated peace in our lives and in the world around us. What's really fascinating is that this tradition even has a framework for healthy disagreement. It's called Arguments for the Sake of Heaven. And it's not about winning. It's about a collaborative search for truth. It requires you to respect the other person, to actually listen to them, and, get this, to be genuinely open to the possibility that you might be wrong. This is a universe away from just asserting your own power.
So, having seen this whole spectrum, from the Grandmaster to the facilitator to ancient tradition, what do we do with all this? How do we apply these lessons and, guard our own mental citadel?
This is the question you should be asking yourself every time you consume content online. What filters are you using? What's your process for protecting your inner world? To help guard that citadel, here's a simple three-part test. First, ask yourself, who has the power here? Is the goal to empower me or to make me dependent on the creator? Second, does it try to replace reality? Is it encouraging me to ignore professional advice or real-world solutions? And third, is it spiritual fast food? Is this just a quick, shallow fix, or is it part of a bigger, more balanced mental diet?
Ultimately, it really all comes down to this. Look, there's nothing wrong with entertainment, but the danger is when we mistake that entertainment for deep nourishment. So the question to leave you with is this: what are you feeding your mind?